This is your boy JG. We got a brand new segment on the channel. It's called the Fighter Showcase. We break down an active fighter, the good, the bad, where they're going, all things boxing, very detailed. This is the Punch Report. Let's go. Like I said before, y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Before we get into anything at all, like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Let's go. Oh, also, if you don't subscribe or like it, leave a comment. You can hate too. That's cool. It's all love. Let's get right into it. So like I said before at the top, brand new segment on the channel called the Fighter Showcase. In this particular episode, we will be highlighting WBA Bantamweight Champion Jamie Mitchell. Before even getting into the details, I want to send a special thank you to Jamie Mitchell herself and her team, being provided an opportunity to, one, talk about something I love, which is boxing, two, actually have an individual say, yo, check out my stuff and let's talk about it. That's all love. That's dope. Let's make it happen. So when I think about a fighter like Jamie Mitchell, the first thing that comes to my mind is versatility. So in a moment, I'm going to play you 3 clips from 3 of her last 4 fights, all in the first round, and just look at the different looks she provides when approaching her opposition. This is right out of the gate. And I think what's significant about this is it just shows a high level of IQ. So I'm not in her camp, so this may have been based on something they were able to identify in film, or Jamie Mitchell just feeling herself. But to show so many different looks and be efficient at providing those looks is high level boxing. The first clip is probably my favorite clip, because take a look right here. This is very reminiscent of Andre Ward's style, right? You see the head movement and then the variety in the jab. And we're going to get into the jab much deeper here in a second. In the second clip here, you see it's just a very clean, crisp, balanced footwork, weight distribution on point. And then you see the disciplined hands and just the measured approach. It allows her to be in control, in position, and really start firing off offense right away. A lot of the same in the third and final clip. The thing that's slightly different about this clip, she just gets a lot of pressure put on her right away, handles it well, settles into the bout, and starts initiating offense. Now, like I said before, I want to dive deeper into the jab. It's like a tie for what my favorite punch is that she deploys, but the jab is one of the most important shots in boxing. Let's just get that out there. If your jab is trash or you don't have any kind of lead hand action, you probably gonna take a lot of L's and get your ass whipped a lot and not be in the sport at all. But going back to this clip right here is great because it sets up the principles of the jab if you understand them, right? So what are the 3 primary objectives of throwing a jab? Measure, distract, damage, in that order. You get to see it all right here inside of about 10 seconds. Pumping the jab to close the distance, measure, figure out where your range is at, start putting it deeper into the guard, shielding the vision, and then going downstairs of the body with the same shot. I mean, the clip is pretty crystal clear. That's high level fundamental boxing, and that's what initiates your offense. It gets you in a position to then deploy the very dangerous right hand that she utilizes. Now, in the clip that I'm gonna show here in a moment, I don't have a comp for this. Like I mentioned, the Andre Ward jab. But for this right hand and this deployment system, I don't really have a comp. If you think about Jamie Mitchell in this clip, I'm pulling it up right here. Take a look at it. You're going to see that the right hand thrown 3 times in succession and 3 different angles. That's high-level boxing, and that's high-level target acquisition. At this point, it's very clear that Mitchell has really established her range and knows where her opposition's at and where she's going to be. And at this point, it's just like, figure out more creative and clever ways to get her out of there, put damage on her from angles that she can't see or interpret or defend intelligently. That's essentially what you're seeing when you watch that clip. And then the counter right hand. On the call, I think it was Sergio Mora, he talks about, oh, well, Jamie Mitchell, you know, when she goes back and her chin and this, that, and the other. And then like 10, 15 seconds later, she uncorks a perfect short right hand, counter right hand, that blows up Skelly. And it was very reminiscent to when Luis King Kong Ortiz blasted Charles Martin. He just stopped moving. and then he got him out of there. That was crazy. And then what's crazy about the Skelly fight, I won't put the rest of it in there. The zone might come for me. But if you go back and you watch that fight or the highlights of the fight, she crushes her again with another just a destructive counter right hand, and she just stands there again, just out on her feet, and then just gets mopped up. Shout out to Jamie Mitchell, because that was violent. That was an incredible stoppage. But anyway, I digress. I mentioned before the exit. So anytime there's pressure coming in towards Jamie Mitchell, how does she exit? How does she respond to that? For the most part, very, very well. The only thing that I would add is you take your first step back, you either throw that beautiful counter left hook and pivot out, or you just J-step a little sooner just to avoid damage, reset range, and then step back in there with that jab or that 1-2, which you throw so beautifully. Think about things like making sure you keep yourself out of trouble, pull the head off the line a little bit more. Look at that, go back and look at that first clip that we posted where the head movement was beautiful. Just give those different looks. One of the things that ends up happening, because Jamie Mitchell lands at a high clip, she has tremendous accuracy. Well, the chicks start getting beat up, they start throwing back heat, because, you know, who wants their ass whooped? Just, you know, who wants to be a heavy bag? So it puts a high-level fighter, a skilled fighter, even someone as skilled as Jamie Mitchell, in a predicament where she can get caught with some shit coming in. So if you look at this clip right here, you have her pumping the jab, stepping in, but the offhand, the right hand, is just slightly down because she's anticipating throwing it. Now, she stays out of trouble for the most part, but if the opposition is able to identify that, if the trap they can set, lull her in, throw something over the top of the drooped right hand, and catch her slipping. So you want to be careful with the hand exchange. You understand that you're pumping the jab with a purpose, but that right hand is nice and high. You have the speed, you have the reflexes, you have the power to uncork that at a short distance or at range, which you do beautifully, and still do damage. Just be mindful of keeping that hand high. And I think what I'll wrap the video with is, because I can go all day. Fighter breakdowns, fighter analysis, I could just do this all day. It's a shit is cake. Another thing, and if you know anything about Jamie Mitchell's background, this won't surprise you at all. Just the willingness to fight fire with fire. When she gets in certain exchanges, gets clipped, gets hit, setting her feet and just returning fire. But even when she does that, there's a clip here, you'll see her show the angle, get off to the side, dig to the body, and reset and just get it going. It's high-level boxing. I enjoy boxing. It's just a hell of a job. And breaking these types of fighters down, smart, intelligent, disciplined fighters, good fundamentals, but still learning, still, you know, just you can still see they're growing and developing from one fight to the next. You see the improvements, but at the end of the day, you know, the foundation, the fundamentals are there. That counter right hand's there. Oh, speaking of the counter right hand, I did a video. I talked about Rolando Romero, Tank Davis, the Philly Shell fighters who try to deploy it. Well, you know, I think there's another version. I think it's called the Mitchell Show. And I'm going to pull it up right here for one specific reason, because you get to see what it looks like when you allow the opponent to sink in on you, overcommit on a shot, and then you counter the hell out of them like Mitchell does. It's one of the more intelligent shows that you see out there. Plus, you get to see here, she has lead hand work despite the fact being in the show. So a lot of times you'll see guys go to the bladed stance, that left hand tucked under the right elbow, and there's no action coming from that side. You get to see it right here. And it's what allows you to maintain your distance, still measure, and know when they overcommit on one side or the other, I can either catch them with a hook or a straight right hand or a right uppercut. But that's my fighter showcase. Shout out to Jamie Mitchell, shout out to her team. Hell of a job. And like I said before, you guys look into her career and what she's come through. And one of the things that makes me think about is, at some point in time as adults, all the excuse making, all the BS, all the reasons why you don't have what you want, you can't get where you want to get to, life's not on your side, all of that goes out the window. At some point in time, you got to make a decision and go get what's yours. And that is the epitome of a fighter like Jamie Mitchell. This is your boy JG. This has been the Punch Report. Like, subscribe, bell icon for notifications. You guys have been great. Keep showing the love. Keep sending the comments. I'll cover as much as I can. We out.